Hi, I wanted to make this video based on weapons abuse from weapons, directed energy weapons that are causing bruising from high energy lasers, is what I'm detecting. They are powerful enough to vaporize tissue and cause a wound channel smaller or similar to rather to a gunshot. This kind of explosive internal damage to tissue would likely cause significant bruising, as in my case. Now, testing shows a wide range of effects: skin burns, blisters, prolonged um, pain. Dew exposure has also caused me recently some nausea, some visual disturbances, lapse in concentration, actually, where I can't almost help it. Like my focus is completely like it's almost like taking the breath out of somebody. Like if the wind is blowing and you lose your breath and you're like, wow, my breath was taken away. That is exactly the feeling of lapse in concentration. And this sometimes happens in driving, which is very, very scary. Nausea, ear pain, abdominal bloating, and discomfort. Now, there is something called the ADS, it is the active denial system. ADS is a non lethal directed energy weapon that uses millimeter waves to produce a heating sensation on the skin, causing an immediate involuntary reaction to move away. It is designed to deter and repel individuals without causing permanent injury and is used in crowd control and security scenarios with different versions developed by manufacturers like Raytheon. Well, you didn't keep me away, but you burned my body and criminally abused it. How it works. An ADS, so obviously this weapon is, I mean, it's probably not for somebody like me. It's not a repellent. An ADS uses a specific type of microwave energy to heat the surface of a person's skin to about 1/64th of an inch deep. Now, this is pretty painful. The energy travels at the speed of light and causes an intense but temporary burning sensation, prompting the person to immediately move away from the source. The effects are reversible and wear off as soon as the individual moves out of the beam's path, which is not true because I cannot figure out where my source is coming from. These are not true. Primary uses and variants: security and deterrence. ADS is a counter personal system used to deter threats without causing lethal harm. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Crowd control. It can be used in situations where there is a need to repel individuals from a certain area. Well, that isn't true. It's actually causing harm to the person's body. Variants. The system has been developed in various versions, such as the ADS-2, Silent Guardian, by manufacturers like Raytheon. Well, it's obviously a crap thing that should not be used on unwitting citizens or participants. Deployment. A prototype was developed in Afghanistan in 2010 for testing, but it was recalled and has not been used in a military setting since. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Not true. So I will tell you about this weird bruising. Now, I will once in a while have a boo boo and bump myself, and I just keep going. Just like most people, if you're really busy, that's usually when you do this stuff, and you notice it right away, right? Well, this is not the case. This bruise started on my left upper thigh, and it was huge. Now, this, like I said in my previous videos, this pattern of abusing, of bruising, rather. I'm trying to think ahead of what I need to say. The pattern of bruising is kind of like episodes. Uh, so this is the episode in October where it's gone left, right, left on my thighs. Okay. And it's pretty big bruises. Like there's no way that I had that many falls in succession, right? But I've noticed this before, but it was to a point of a lesser degree where it wasn't left, right, left. So what happened was my left thigh got bruised and is very hot to the touch. Then my right side developed bruises, but it's just, just in certain spots. And now the one on the right is healing, but the one on the left is has redeveloped in a different area on the left. So I have still have one on the right and one on the left, but they are if you touch them, if you touch the skin, they're extremely hot. I'm using ice right now, but they're extremely hot to the touch. And there are oh, hi, thanks for joining. Um, they're very hot to the touch, and they feel a little bit deep, and I am icing them right now, but they are incredibly painful. And like I said, there wasn't an injury or anything. Like I hadn't bumped myself or, had some type of injury. These seem to be weapons abuse, some type of exposure, some type of high energy laser. And I'm not quite sure how to eradicate it. But if you've listened to what I've read from the from the research that I've pulled up on what they're claiming that they are or not doing with this weapon, is something else. But yeah, what happened with them is they're extremely itchy, you guys. So they started off, the one on the right side started off kind of like an itch. And I was thinking that maybe it was my cell phone keeping it in my pocket because it gets awfully hot. Like lately, my cell phone has been like on fire in my pocket. It's been really hot. So I've trying to keep it away from my body is sometimes difficult. But so I guess my thought was that since it was happening on my left and my right thighs, these bruises, one of my thoughts was that it was chemical burns. But when I researched this, it's saying that this is not typical. Bruising is not typical of chemical burns. It's more likely a do abuse. Uh, but I had thought all sorts of things, like maybe it's some kind of nerve damage or nerve pain, but why is it being caused? Why am I getting the bruises? I didn't have an injury. Uh, and then maybe it's the cell phone since it's getting so hot and I keep them in my pocket for, especially during work. And then it had happened on both sides. And the one that just developed the other day on my left side, they are extremely itchy. And then what the one on the left side was like was it was I was like, is this a boil? It was almost like a hard nodule. Like it was the same color of my skin, but it was real hard when you would touch it and it was itchy. It was just like this little bump, and when you itch it, it's turning into bruising. So it's hard to say because the origin of, the one on the right compared to the one on the left didn't really start the same way. But they were initiated by itching. And then there was bruising that had followed. So whatever caused me to itch my skin, I mean, it could be anything from dermatitis or whatever. But I think that it has something to do with some kind of high energy laser, or some kind of effect that's causing that. I can't imagine that I would just develop this all of a sudden. Um, unless somebody's contaminating some sort of product that I'm using. So, if you have an idea on this, or, want to chime in on your take on these types of weapons, we're talking high energy lasers and bruising as opposed to chemical burns. And there was this ADS, active denial system. That's what we're talking about. Um, yeah. So that's that. Just wanted to put that out there that Yeah, it's pretty strange that this has happened, and it's just one more thing to add to the pile up, to the garbage, that's happening to people. I mean, it's just incredible the stuff that they can do and get away with every single day. It's just incredible. So, like I was saying in some of my previous videos, if you would like to chime in and mention something that is horrific that's happened to you that might cause embarrassment or cause you to feel pain in some way, I will flush my little potty here for you. And just, hopefully that brightens your day a little bit. Oh, let's see. Battle for Your Brain chimed in and said microchips can modulate your dermatomes, nerves that control sensory responses, pressure, touch, pain, etc., and capillary responses. Also they cause excessive exposure to sorry, I have a little to radiation, heating, and ir- irritation. You should get scanned for microchips. Yeah, I actually thought about doing that, but I can't afford to survive right now. And I think that I have microchips. I'm just not sure where. I suspected that mine would be in my shoulder and in my brain. However, what's weird is when you start researching the nano wires and the nano bots, and you start understanding them a little differently than I once originally did. I just thought they were like little microscopic robots that would just glide around in your body like a little toy car, like a miniature toy car, like I mean a super miniature toy car. Um, but it's actually quite different from that, how they work in your system. Yeah, but microchips, uh, yeah, I think that they probably could do that. I just haven't had, I mean, I've known about my microchips for a while, and my perpetrators knew that I knew about my microchips for a while. But they really haven't affected me in that sense. So I'm not sure. I don't know, but I would imagine that they're causing the bruising. And of course, all of that stuff is probably bad for you to have inside your body. I mean, it can't be good, right? It probably leads to disease. And I would imagine at this point, from what I know, that most people have some sort of device in them. I would imagine that most people have the reason why they have health problems that they do is because they have some sort of technological abuse, something that is polluting their water or their food source, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it can come in all shapes and sizes and all forms, right? So I would imagine that what you said is, I mean, it's highly probable. It's just a really scary thing to want to admit to. Yeah. Yeah, but I could definitely see that. So yeah, getting scanned for microchips. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing is I've heard stories of people having that done only to have the doctor confiscate the microchip or pretend that, so that would be my only concern there. It's like, yeah, it's possible. It's possible to do. But I guess we might just kind of move into that in the next show. And yeah, pick it up there. So thank you for that bit of information there. It's definitely very helpful to know that those things are likely. All right. Thank you for joining me. And Join me on the next one. I'm sure it'll probably be tomorrow. So have a good night.